Welcome to Equal Voice Voting, making our voices heard in the Electoral College. Our Electoral College gives us poor results in our presidential elections. Equal voice voting is a new idea we can use to fix it. The book you see here covers the last 9 presidential elections, showing how each state voted and what the results could have been if equal voice voting had been used instead. But maybe you're the kind of person who wants to hear more first. Then watch these videos to get the idea quickly. For example, this video explains the challenges we currently face with our Electoral College. More YouTube videos will be made available at our website at www.equalvoicevoting.com to tell more of the story. By the way, the map you see here on the cover of the book is what the Electoral College results would have looked like if equal voice voting had been used in 2012. Let me show you what it really looked like. The map you see here shows the results of the Electoral College in the 2012 election. The red states cast all their electoral votes for Romney, the Republican candidate. The blue states cast all their electoral votes for Obama, the Democratic candidate. It looks like a pretty evenly divided nation. 24 states were red, 26 states were blue. But really, you probably know a lot of people who were not represented in these results. Their votes didn't matter. Maybe yours didn't either. There were more than 217 million eligible voters in the most recent presidential election. But only 129 million voted. That means that more than 88 million, more than 40% of the nation's voters did not vote. As a country that tries to be a democratic role model for other nations to follow, that's a disgusting turnout. What's worse, however, is that many voters were not represented by the Electoral College. Because of our winner-takes-all system, 56 million voters were not represented. Now, if you add these two groups together, those that did not vote and those whose votes did not count, 144.7 million eligible voters were not represented in the 2012 election. Here's a map that probably tells the story better. If all the non-represented eligible voters got together, they would equal more than the eligible voters of 45 states. That's the states you see here in yellow. Now, of course, a lot of people live in the remaining 5 white states, but it shows that we have a huge voting problem in our country. Here's what the 2012 results really looked like. We had a lack of voter turnout, meaning 40.6% of eligible voters did not vote. And when we add that to the number of voters who were not represented, we see that only 1/3 of the eligible voters mattered in this last election. This means that only 22% of the eligible voters who cast votes for Obama mattered. Only 12% of eligible voters who cast votes for Romney mattered. Here's a map showing how our Electoral College actually represented the eligible voters in 2012 on a state-by-state basis. You'll notice there's a lot of white in these states, and that's because many eligible voters did not vote, and many who voted were not represented. It doesn't look good, does it? A lot of registered voters are missing from this picture. Let's look at the basic flaw of the Electoral College. Our nation becomes divided during presidential elections because we use a winner-takes-all approach. This means that whichever candidate wins the most votes in the state gets all of the electoral votes of that state. The Electoral College should not be a method to divide the country. It was never intended to polarize the United States citizens. The point is that our Electoral College should not be a collection of 51 separate contests, that is 50 states and Washington, D.C., that disenfranchise so many voters. The Electoral College was set up to reflect the voting voice of the citizens within each state. The results should be proportional, so all votes count. Now together we can fix the Electoral College with equal voice voting. Watch the other equal voice voting videos as they become available to get more of the story. Buy the book at Amazon.com to see how each state voted in the past 9 elections. Tell your legislators you want equal voice voting for your state.